You're listening to the Armchair GMs Sports Network.
You're listening to the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition, your source for all news, reactions, analysis, and objective discussions regarding the NHL's Toronto Maple Leafs from right here in the Niagara region. Here's your host, Kyle Kitt.
How's it going, Leafs fans? Welcome back to the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network. This is your September 4th, 2020 edition. We are your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans, delivered to you right here from the beautiful Niagara region. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Armchair GMs Pod. You can follow this episode or this show as well at Armchair GM Leafs. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Armchair GM Sports Network, GMs Network. Follow us on Instagram by searching Armchair GM Sports Network. Listen to us on all our main platforms, Spreaker.com and the Spreaker app, as well as Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you're getting your podcasts. Search up the Armchair GM Sports Network and you get all the wonderful podcasts available on our sports network. Lastly, check out our website. It is armchairgmsports.com for all things regarding our network. Articles, podcast episodes, sponsors, and contributors are all located on there. So go give us that. Go give us a look and check out our sponsors and contributors on there too, and all the information you need to know about the sports network. I'm your host as always. My name is Kyle. You can follow me on Twitter at justkyle51. We are here to talk about the Leafs here on the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs edition. A couple of things to talk about today. Not too much, just gonna touch base on a couple of things that's happened lately since the last episode. Another thing is I'm actually in the process of searching for a co-host, so I don't keep doing this by myself. So that's gonna be something I'm going to do for the foreseeable future with the show. Also, for you audio listeners out there, if you like YouTube and you know how to use the YouTube, or ever want to try watching podcasts, I'm going to be switching to a video version of this episode as well. So the audio versions are still going to be available, but I'm also going to be doing this at the same time, a video version for YouTube when I get the graphics made for the layout and all that stuff. So I'm going to be converting to video so you can see my beautiful face, and I'll have a Leafs backdrop for you. So yeah, so can't wait to start that here on the show. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be exciting, right? Yes. Ric Flair, very excited about that one. We're here to talk about the Buds, guys. If you are a Leafs fan, you're listening in here. If you're not sure why you're listening. This is all be about the Leafs here. You want a general hockey podcast? Check out Under Review podcast. It's on the network. Me and myself and Brandon talk about the general hockey, but this is all about the Buds. Today, a couple of things we're going to go over. We're going to go over the Kapanen trade. I haven't had an episode since that trade. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that trade. We're going to talk about the latest rumors of the Leafs possibly shipping out Frederik Andersen. There's a lot of talk surrounding that I've seen lately. I got some articles I've pulled some stuff from that I'm going to read to you guys. Also going to go over on who the Leafs should trade next and possibly next, in order to either make more cap room for a top defenseman, or just to move for cap space in general, because you never know what will come up during the season. And then I'm going to finish off today's episode with the 2020 projected lineup that I sent out about a month ago. So I'll give you guys that lineup, and you tell me. I hope you guys tell me what you think about that, and let me know. You can tweet me. You can tweet at the show at Armchair GMs Leafs, or tweet me at justkyle51. So we're going to take our first commercial break here on the show, and then we'll come right back and jump right into it, guys. So don't go anywhere. Stay right here for Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition, and right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network.
Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving traditional-style Italian pizzas made with the freshest, top-quality ingredients. Loaded subs and their famous chicken wings. Winners of the Reader's Choice Diamond Award, 4 years running from Niagara this week for Best Pizza and Wings in Niagara Falls. Home of the best tray and wing combo in town for the price and quality. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery at 905-374-4400. Make sure to like them on Facebook and view their website for their menu at carmine'spizzeria.ca. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, way too good. As we all adjust to this new world that we're living in today, masks are now mandatory, and Niagara's own Custom PPE is Canada's leading face mask provider. Visit them online at customppe.ca and choose between several mask options with different colors and sizes. Add your organization, company, or team logo so you make your face masks unique. Available to purchase online 24/7 at customppe.ca and shipped within 1 week. They have the best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, and no order is too big or too small. Also offering custom floor stickers as well as face and counter shields for your business or workplace. Visit customppe.ca and use the code ARMCHAIR at checkout for 20% off your custom or blank face mask today. Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Attention job seekers, if you are currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls, directly across from the Camisos Plaza. Their free services include resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and all their services are currently provided by appointment only. So give them a call at 905-358-0021 or visit their website at ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
You're listening to the Armchair GMs Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
All right, welcome back to the show, Leaf fans. Niagara Hockey Lowdown, Leafs edition. Got a lot to talk about on today's show. Looks like it's going to be a very, very, very busy off season this year with the Leafs. Lots of things happening. Maybe a little bit of retooling, maybe. But Dubas says we're not in the market for a retool. We're just looking to fix a few needed things on the team, and I think I kind of agree with him there. So we'll get into that in this episode of the Leafs. Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs edition. But first, before we go anywhere, if you hear that beautiful song that's playing, I want to give a shout out to Darren of These Wolves, who do the cover song Tom's Diner. Guys, go check out Darren and These Wolves. Search up These Wolves on your Spotify, your Google Play Music, your Apple Play Music, wherever you're looking for your music. Type in These Wolves. Check out his other songs. Support him. So shout outs to him for letting me use this song for my pod. But yeah, guys, let's talk about the Leafs. A lot of important things happening. So the first one is the big Kapanen trade. Again, that was one of the $3 million to two guys there, him and Janssen, that were expandable players. I guess you can add and throw in Kerfoot into that mix. He was always talked about movable piece even after we got him this year in the trade. But yeah, he was the big trade that happened a couple of weeks ago. There's some other news with Frederik Andersen possibly being shipped out of town. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that as well. But first, we'll talk about Kasperi Kapanen. So it was but around late August. I think it was around the 25th or 24th. I'm not really too sure. But it was around there. Maple Leafs trade Kasperi Kapanen to the Pittsburgh Penguins for a first-round pick and a multiplayer deal. So it was interesting. I remember waking up and just Leafs Twitter was going nuts. It was going why, and there was a rumor. I think it was Elliot Freeman that put out a tweet that Kapanen was being shipped out of town. I'm like, oh boy. So they're not wasting any time with this off season. So yeah, so they traded Kasperi Kapanen out, and at first I was shocked because I wasn't too happy at first with the trade because I actually like Kapanen. I think a lot of you Leaf fans out there could agree with me. Like he was good. Like he was a really fast guy, a guy that you could move up and down your lineup at times. I know that they tried the experiment with him getting a top 6 role, and I think the couple of experiments that happened, I don't think they really necessarily worked. I think it's just a mismatch though. I think they were looking at Kapanen as to go on that winger to help production. Meanwhile, at the same time, he was trying to change his game to play a little bit more like a Zach Hyman, and he isn't a Zach Hyman. He's never going to be that type of player. So I think it was just a kind of like a mismatch, and you know what? It was time to do something, and he was expandable. We tried him out with everyone. He played alongside Tavares. He played alongside Matthews, and we couldn't really see anything more out of him. So I think that was what we were going to get with him on this team, and it sucks. It happens all the time with a lot of teams in the NHL. If you don't fit in the lineup, you the potential being traded somewhere else, and maybe you can go somewhere else. And we've seen it, not just with the Leaf players leaving, but a lot of players leaving and going to different teams. A change of scenery could mean the world to a player, and it could do wonders for that player. So Kapanen alongside defensive prospect Jesper Lindgren, who I never thought would make the team. I knew about him, but it wasn't really someone that I'm saying, oh yeah, he's going to make the team for sure next year or in a couple years. He was just there. So him and winger Pontus Aberg, who I completely forgot was still on the team, were their shipped to the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Leafs, what the Leafs got back is hilarious. So the Leafs got Evan Rodriguez, who is a UFA, so it's up to him if they can reach a deal with the Leafs. I'm sure the Leafs would love to have him in his type of play for the bottom six, but if he's going to be asking for too much, I highly doubt we're going to re-sign him. They got Philip Hallander, a prospect, and if you guys remember, if you don't, the Leafs were actually really high on Philip Hallander when he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that was someone that the Leafs were going to take. So that's funny that we got him in the deal. And then we got a defenseman, David Warsofsky, who nothing more than like an AHL depth guy for us, an AHL depth for a defenseman. I don't know. I'm going to pull up a cat friendly here. I don't know if he's signed on for another year or if he's a guy we'll just let walk. I have it up here. Warsofsky. Okay, so we have him for another year at $700,000. So he'll just be a depth guy for us, playing in the minors with the Marlies. If we have serious like defense injuries, I highly doubt he'll be the first one called up, but if the case may be, he might be called up. He's a veteran guy, 30 years old, so that is what that is. But the main part of this deal was the Leafs acquiring the Pittsburgh Penguins' first-round pick for this year, right? When I first heard the first-round pick, I'm like, okay, what do we get? Like first next year or 2 years from now or 3 years from now or something dumb like 4 years from now? No. We got it for this draft. And the most important thing about this draft, guys, a lot of you guys, if you don't know, myself and Brandon on the podcast, we've had the pleasure of being media members for the Niagara Ice Dogs, the OHL team this year, and it was exciting. But we also got to see a lot of crop OHL talent that are going to the draft, and also talking to other people in the press box about around the other leagues like the WHL and the QMJHL. This draft is a very, very first round heavy draft. Like there is a very deep draft. Have you ever heard that term? It is a very deep draft. So it's crazy that we were able to swing out a 15th overall pick out of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So Leafs are getting a top 15 pick in this year's draft because it is also very important because we don't have our first round pick this year. That trade was traded away last June, if you guys remember, when we traded Patrick Marleau to the Carolina Hurricanes for them to eat the salary cap and buy him out. We had to give them a first-round pick. So we had no first-round pick this year. We literally just had a second, no third. We now currently have 2 fourths, a fifth, 3 sixths, and 3 sevenths. So we have a lot of late-round picks. So if it's a deep draft, then maybe we can pick up a lot of guys in the 6th and 7th round there with those picks. But for us acquiring the 15th overall pick is crazy. And there's actually, I looked at like a lot of mock drafts. There's a lot of good talent available in that 15th pick range that we could pick up for the future, like a solid guy that could be team ready in the next year or two. Or you look at it the other way. Does Dubas Dubas can use this pick as leverage for another trade? So this is huge. So we got a 15th overall pick in a deep draft that you can entice with a trade to another team who's maybe looking at getting another first-round pick and rebuilding. So this was a very, very good trade. I think it really silenced a lot of Dubas haters because right now I got sick and tired of reading the fire Dubas thing. Like that is literally the most overused, horrible take on hockey Twitter or just like social media in general. Like the hashtag fire Dubas. Like I honestly laugh every time I hear it. It's that horrible. Then look at this. I'd never seen fire Dubas at all for like days after this, like after this trade. You give this guy time, he's gonna build this team right. I know he's had his history with the contracts with the big players on this team, but I fully support Kyle Dubas, and I'm fully into what he's doing with this team. And look at this. He goes and gets a 15th overall pick basically for Kasperi Kapanen. I don't consider Jesper Lindgren or Pontus Aberg in this deal. And then we get a guy like Philip Hallander who we don't know. This guy could pan out. He could not pan out. It's just a roll of the dice throw in. He's listed as a power forward center, so that'd be pretty good for the Leafs. Maybe this guy could be what Frederik Gauthier was never going to be. And then Evan Rodriguez, if he chooses to stay for maybe like 1 year or $1 million and then chooses to go to another team next year, hey, I'm all for Evan Rodriguez. If you guys don't remember, Evan Rodriguez a couple of years ago had that big year because he played alongside Jack Eichel, of all players, and then they fed off each other. Could you imagine if the Leafs got into a situation where they needed to have someone play alongside Austin Matthews? Evan Rodriguez could be that guy. Eichel and Matthews are almost a similar player. They have their similar style. These guys could probably work together if they get that chemistry. So it's a mixed bag with both, like Philip Hallander and Evan Rodriguez. But we got a 15th overall pick out of it. I am not upset in any way over that. I think we can do wonders with that pick if we choose to draft or if we choose to throw in for another trade, possibly, hopefully, for some defensive help, because obviously that is the screaming need for this team is the back end. So I was okay with the trade. I was more than happy with that, especially because we had no first round pick going to this draft. So I can't wait to see that. And you know what, Kasperi Kapanen, it's been a pleasure. You've done wonders for this team. You've played 202 games actually for us, and you've recorded 41 goals and 49 assists. Not bad production. I think you'll be highlighted by your unreal overtime goal back when we faced the Washington Capitals in the playoffs, and that beautiful backdoor pass behind the net from Brian Boyle, and you scoring the OT winner. That's probably the most highlighted moment for me. I would say the one goal in the Bruins Game 7 game a couple years ago, but I don't like to talk about that because what happens after. But yeah, Kasperi Kapanen, thanks for being a Leaf, man, and you're going back to the team that originally drafted you in 2014. I believe you were a first-round pick around the 21 or 22 overall mark. So good for you, Kapanen. I hope you actually find success with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hopefully they are able to play you in the top 6 and you click well with them, and we'll see you on the ice, kid. So yeah, that is it for that Kasperi Kapanen trade. Before I get into the next topic, though, guys, make sure you're checking out our sponsors. Make sure you check out, if you're in the Niagara region, Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano is home of the best pizza and wing combos in Niagara Falls. Call today at 905-374-4400 and carminespizzeria.ca. This month's promo code is Armchair, I believe it's Armchair Bacon. Yes, Armchair Bacon for 10% off your order when you call. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery. Way too good. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano. So, let's get into this next segment here. We're going to talk about Frederik Andersen. Yes, the rumors are swirling everywhere. After the Kasperi Kapanen trade, you knew this was going into it. You knew these rumors were going to happen before even trades were even listed or on social media. Before a Kapanen trade even happens, you knew going into this next season that the Frederik Andersen move and trades are going to spark up because he's going to his last year of his contract. Frederik Andersen is going to his last year of his contract making $5 million. He is going to be getting more than $5 million. He is going to go to a team at age 30 or 31 next year, who is going to pay him for the next 5 to 6 years a whole lot of money. And Andersen definitely deserves that type of money. He's proven over the years for sure that he's been the Leafs MVP player, and you cannot argue me with that. He is shown also that this guy should have been a Hart candidate in some years, or a Vezina candidate for that matter, and he's been screwed out of those nominees a lot. And you know what? I don't say, oh, go look at the stats. That's not a thing. You got to look at what he does for the team, especially in the Hart candidate. But anyways, yeah, Frederik Andersen. The trade rumors are swirling now in his last year. It's tough. I want to sit here and say that I would want to trade Frederik Andersen, but if a deal can be reached, I don't want to. Like, why would you want to get rid of Frederik Andersen? He has been our top goalie in a very long time. I'd say he's been our best goalie since, God, I'd say even maybe Eddie Belfour. And Eddie Belfour wasn't even, I mean, I think he's better than Eddie Belfour. Like, Frederik Andersen's been our best goalie in a long time, if not probably our best goalie of all time. Like, he is an absolute stud, so I don't understand the reason why we have to jump on the trade Frederik Andersen train just because it's his last year of his contract. Now, you look at it on the other side, that he could probably want to ask anywhere from $9 to $11 million and probably get it from another team, and he'll probably will ask that. He could ask that and get it from a team. The matter is that does he want to stay here on this team? Is he going to be the one Leaf to actually take a discount? In terms of discount, I do think William Nylander took a big discount. The guy's making $6.9 a year. That guy could easily be making anywhere from $8 to $9 million. You can't just. You got to put what you think of him aside and look at his production. The guy is a 30-plus goal scorer a year, and you're paying him $6.9 million. That is dirt cheap for a 30-plus goal scorer. You put into perspective, you look at around the league, people are scoring twice as much as him, or even 40 or 50 goals, and are making the same amount of money. It's crazy. So yeah, I literally consider William Nylander on a team-friendly deal. I would consider Frederik Andersen getting a team-friendly deal if he can. If not, I mean, it'll be the time to maybe part ways with him, but I wouldn't want him. If I was Kyle Dubas, I'm not getting rid of Frederik Andersen. I don't think he wants to go. I don't feel like he does want to go. You have him in his relationship with Austin Matthews. You guys, I hope you guys have heard that, him and his relationship with them living together, even through this quarantine era or a COVID era. It's going to be interesting to see what his mindset is going into this contract negotiations. And I don't even know if they've talked about it yet. I highly doubt if they've actually talked about contract negotiations just yet with Freddie. But we don't know. Again, it's going to be a thing of we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But I hope the Leafs do make an attempt at keeping him on a team-friendly deal. Now, what would be a team-friendly deal? It's very tough to say. Again, with a cap crunch team, again, you're moving more pieces if you're keeping Freddie Andersen. You're moving another guy like a Andreas Janssen or an Alexander Kerfoot, or you know what? I know it's a team friendly deal, but if you need to move William Nylander, you can move William Nylander. That's a very cheap contract and a movable contract. So you know what? It's going to require movable pieces if you're going to keep Frederik Andersen for a certain amount of money. Now, what would I pay him? I mean, so he's coming off a $5 million contract. I think he deserves a couple of mil more. I think a T-friendly deal, you're looking at anywhere between $8 and $9 million in that range for like the next, 3 to 5 years. That would put him at like 35, 36 years old. Then you can restructure his veteran contract then. So, or unless Freddie's going to be the one, again, it's going to come down again to what Freddie wants to be. Does he want in his contract? Does he want to be the guy to sign long-term now, or sign half a deal now and then another half after? It's going to all come down to that. It's going to be it's a tough read on Freddie. Very, very tough read, because I'd assume he loves playing here. I assume he loves with his teammates, and he's built such a good relationship with a lot of them that he wouldn't want to move away from them. So I hope that we're going to get a situation where we're going to keep Frederik Andersen, and it's going to be for a very team-friendly deal. I just want the Leafs to sign just one team-friendly deal, and that'll make me happy. So, now let's talk about the potential trades. So if Frederik Andersen does trade, there's a couple of potential trade rumors flying around right now. I know that Chris Johnson from Sportsnet has said that there's a good chance that he's not going to be playing in Toronto this coming season. There is interest in him, and the Leafs are entertaining that interest, at least in terms of taking those calls and having conversations with other teams. So we'll see what happens. So that's the report from Chris Johnson. It's just going to be tough because we're going into what looks like a very goalie market free agency, and the Leafs could pick up somebody. The Leafs could pick up someone big if they trade away Frederik Andersen. I think someone that's probably going to ask less than a Frederik Andersen. Like from what I've read, there's the goalie market. You're looking at guys like Braden Holtby, Matt Murray, Jacob Markstrom, Talbot, Robin Leonard. Maybe, I don't know. With the way this playoff is going, I expect Marc-Andre Fleury would be available rather than a Robin Leonard, because it looks like they're putting full faith in Robin Lehner. So it's a very, very goalie-friendly market we're looking at free agency this year. So again, the Leafs have a lot of work to do when it comes to that. So we'll see what happens. The one potential trade partner I saw was actually the Columbus Blue Jackets, the team that just eliminated them out of the playoffs. And a trade that was, it's not a rumored trade, but a trade that looks good on paper for these two teams was listed as Columbus is listed as trading one of Korpisalo or Merzlikins for offensive help, and the Leafs are looking for back-end help and they could move on from a Frederik Andersen or a William Nylander. So the trade would be William Nylander and Frederik Andersen to the Columbus Blue Jackets for, I saw David Savard. I hope not. And one of Merzlikins or Korpisalo. I would take Korpisalo on that end. But they would have to throw in a lot more than that just for Savard and Anderson. Like that's we're looking at maybe like you're adding in a first, you're adding in a prospect, and you're adding in another suitable player. And I know that Jones and Werenski aren't going anywhere, so it'll be interesting to see how that trade would work. But that's just a rumor. It's not actually legit. It was just someone putting those two teams together to see what the kind of trade would look good. I've heard also Carolina was in the mix with that, with Frederik Andersen. I think a good trade between those two teams. Obviously, we're not getting a goalie back. We would get like picks and prospects, or maybe one of their 18 defensemen that they have on that team. I would love a Dougie Hamilton back, but I don't think that would ever happen. But if Anderson was going there, I'd expect a big return, and then we go and get a goalie in the free agent market that's going to happen this year. So I've heard Carolina. With trade rumors, you're going to hear a lot of stuff happening, and we're going to wonder what's actually going to happen, and we're going to have to wait until it comes to. So it's going to be a very, very busy offseason for the Toronto Maple Leafs and Frederik Andersen. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. I'm very curious to see. It's going to be a very busy one, Leaf fans. So you guys are going to want to strap in. It's going to be a busy one. So we're going to take our last commercial break here, guys, and we'll come back, and I'll let you guys know on who I would trade next on the team and who the Leafs should trade next, and we'll do our 2020 projected lineup that I have written down here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this last commercial break right here in the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs edition and right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network.
J&L Flooring is a Niagara-based specialty flooring and design company. They take great pride in providing elite customer service and support. They are a specialty flooring and decor boutique shop with a beautiful showroom, great pricing, and a wide variety and truly unique selection of products. All their products are environmentally friendly and responsibly produced, so you can feel great about your flooring choices. Their goal as a local business is to build authentic relationships based on honesty and integrity that they foster with respect and authenticity, offering unique and wide range of quality products presented by a knowledgeable and patient team. They connect with their customers to simplify the process to make their life easier and to make their homes beautiful. Visit them at 4424 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, or find out more at jnlflooring.com. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 905-358-3299 J&L Flooring. The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill is located on the top of Clifton Hill and just a 5-minute walk from the majestic Niagara Falls. It is conveniently nestled in the heart of the tourist district. A family-owned and operated business, the Spicy Olive opened its doors in May of 2003 and has since been established as an authentic and unique Italian restaurant and bar. Its rustic ambiance and time-worn finishing provide a warm and inviting dining experience. Offering an array of delicious dishes, they specialize in authentic Italian cuisine, homemade sauces, fresh ingredients, and consistently providing a strong foundation on which they build their menu. As night falls, the Spicy Olive shifts to a lively lounge where drinks and live music come together to make a perfect evening. For more than 15 years, they have provided not only for their dedicated locals, but their customers from all over the world with authentic Italian food and great live entertainment. Open daily 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for dinner and till 2 a.m. for drinks. Check out their new menu and book reservations on their website at Spicy Olive Bar and Grill, it's with an E at the end, .com, or call 905-371-2323 for reservations as well. The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill.
What's going on, Leaf fans? Welcome Welcome back to the podcast, Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition. Here to wrap up the show with our last two segments: who I should trade, or who I think the Leafs should trade next, and the 2020 projected lineup I have written down. I do like the lineup I have written down, but that's only if the Leafs stay the way they are. So we'll see. Let's go into this last one. Who I think the Leafs will and probably should trade next. So looking at the team right now, obviously with the current rumors of Frederik Andersen, he might be the one. But who I think they should trade next. God, it's tough. It's very tough here. I'm looking at this team, and maybe we don't trade anybody else. You know, I would be open to an Alexander Kerfoot trade, but that's only if the trade is right and we're getting a better center back. I mean, I don't mind Alexander Kerfoot. I liked his season game. The playoffs, I mean, it was a mixed bag for everybody in the playoffs, and even the season was just a kind of like a crapshoot. It's tough to judge him. Andreas Johnsson, I would probably be the one to trade. I don't think with him coming back is going to make much of a difference with the Leafs top six, and that's what that's what he's built to be, is some guy to work with top six. So with the right trade, I think I would probably trade Andreas Johnsson. And that's probably, I think the Leafs would have a hand in the bag to trade next, because you're looking at next season as well. Another guy coming off the books that we're going to have to re-sign, who I think the Leafs should re-sign to a long-term contract, is Zach Hyman. And I assume he would also want a team-friendly deal. So he's also a guy that we're going to have to think about in going into next offseason, which I think the Leafs have already done. I think that's who the Leafs should trade. If I had to pick someone for sure, I'd say ship Martin Rinson out of town, but I don't think anyone would want to take him. So that's who. But let's get into the last part here, this projected lineup I have written down. This is a interesting lineup here. So agree with me if you want. You don't have to agree with me, but this is what I would do. I very much liked what the Leafs did during the playoffs. I know it's labeled as a hero line to some, or just that line to get production going. The Leafs did it a lot with trying to get something going, or right after a penalty kill. The lineup of Matthews at center, with Tavares in the wing, or vice versa. These guys could switch, and Marner on the right wing. I like a line of Tavares, Marner, and Matthews. You have three guys making $10+ million. Why not stack them all on the first line, you know? I wouldn't mind that. I don't think Tavares or Matthews would mind playing on the wing, or if they want to switch centermen, if they want to switch center at times, they can, because they both play center. I like that first line. And all you might think that's like overdoing it, and it's way over. But you know what? I think Matthews, Tavares, and Marner on the same line together would be dominant. I think these guys could definitely, produce off of each other. So I would keep that line together. So that would be line one for me. I'm going to do forwards first, then I'll go to defense, and then goalie. So that would be line one. Line two, you're looking at a Hyman on the left wing, and Alexander Kerfoot at center, and Will Nylander on the right. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, why don't you play Nylander at center? I don't like Nylander at center. You saw how lost he was during the playoffs when they put him at center that one time. He's not a good centerman. I know he can win draws, but I would never keep Nylander at center. He doesn't play the center role good. So I would keep him on the wing. Nylander, Hyman, and Kerfoot on line one. Line three, again, this is as far as if they don't trade anybody, I would have Andreas Johnsson there. Pierre Engvall showed us, I think, in the playoffs, this guy could be a very good centerman. I think he was probably one of the best centers out of everybody on the team during the playoffs. I think he could definitely fit well on that third line center role. So I have Johnsson, Engvall, and for sure I expect them to re-sign Mikheyev, or maybe Korshkov, or the other Russian that they signed gets a spot here on the third line. But the third line right wing spot, I have a mixed bag there of either Mikheyev, Korshkov, or one. I keep forgetting the other Russian's name, and it's going to bug me now. But that's what I have on that third line. As for the fourth line, I'd hope they'd re-sign Kyle Clifford. They'd be dumb not to re-sign Kyle Clifford. So have him being re-signed and playing in that fourth line. I have them re-signing Spezza. I think Spezza still got a lot to give. I think he showed in the playoffs that he's not done yet, and I expect him to probably sign another 1-year contract, probably $800,000 to $900,000. And then for that fourth line right wing, I have a potential Marley making the team. I wrote down someone that's going to show in camp that they deserve to be here, or if they go out and sign somebody in free agency, or if maybe we get Evan Rodriguez on a team-friendly deal, I think there's a spot for him right there on that fourth line. So that's what I have as the forward core as a projected lineup if the team stays the same. And there's no other trades but that forward core and then the re-signs of Clifford and Spezza and Mikheyev. As for the D lineup, you have Riley and Muzzin working together well. I think both those guys really work together well from what I've seen whenever they were paired together. So I have Riley and Muzzin on line one. Dermott, I think for sure will eventually break out of his shell. I know he had a rough playoff, but I think he's all right to fit in the top four. Same with Justin Hall. I know Justin Hall got exposed a lot during the playoffs, but I think he has a spot in the top four. Again, this is assuming that they can't get a top four guy, which I know they're going to be gunning for. This is just assuming that they don't go and acquire one. And as for the bottom pair D, I think Sandin makes the team finally. I think he deserves to make the team. I think he was probably one of the best D call-ups this year. And I have him playing alongside one of three players, and that's Kivul Hame, Calle Rosen, who I expected to get into the playoffs this year. Don't know why he never did. Or Timothy Liljegren. Maybe one of these three show in camp that they deserve to make the team, and then there's your spot. I do not have Martin Marincin in the lineup. I don't have Cody Ceci being re-signed. They're gone. Martin Marincin can play in the Marlies and be a depth forward for us whenever there's an injury. But Sandin, Liljegren, again, Sandin playing alongside either Liljegren, Rosen, or Kivul Hame on the last T pairing. And as for goalies, again, assuming everything is staying the same and there's no trades, Frederik Andersen obviously starting goalie, or Jack Campbell, but I have a slash beside Andersen slash new goalie if we go out and do trade Andersen and we acquire a goalie in the free agency. But that's what I have as the projected lineup, guys. So Matthews, Tavares, and Marner in line 1, Hyman, Kerfoot, Nylander line 2, Janssen, Engvall, and one of Mikheyev or the Russian forward in line 3, Clifford, Spezza, and a Marley player at line 4. As for the D pairings, line 1D, Riley Muzzin, then Dermott Hall, and then Sandin, and one of Liljegren, Rosen, and Kivul Hame, and then Andersen and Campbell. I don't think it's a bad lineup. I think it's a lineup that's workable. It's a lineup that could be built upon during the regular season if trades are available and are made. I like this lineup. I'm not going to lie. It's not the best lineup, but I do like this lineup, and I think it's a lineup that's decent for the Leafs. But again, the main key here is they need to build that back end, and it will be a goal. I mean, I can't see them rolling with the back end I just listed here. That's only if trades are not made right away, and we have to start the season with what we have. And I don't think that's a bad lineup to start with the season. It's not horrible. We're not looking at a team that's rebuilding. We are looking at a team that could compete with this type of lineup, and we've seen them do it. So that's what I have for that lineup, guys, and that's probably going to end the show here. I have nothing really else. It's tough with a single co-host here, so again, I'm looking for another co-host eventually to help work me with this show. So I'm in discussions, so we'll see what happens. But again, I'll also be doing a video version of this podcast eventually as well. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're following it on Armchair GMs Leafs. And you're following myself at JustKyle51. Make sure you're checking also my NHL 20 GM Mode commentary series on YouTube. Really fun thing I did with the Seattle Kraken, the new NHL's 32nd team, and being the GM of that team and going through season simulations. It's really fun if you guys are into that sort of thing, so go check that out. Other than that, let me just check my notes here. Yeah, I don't have anything else, so that is going to wrap it up, guys, for this next episode of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs edition right here in the Armchair GMs Sports Network. It is your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. As always, I'm your host. My name is Kyle. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at JustKyle51. All links for you guys to follow will be in the description of the video version of this podcast on YouTube and whatever platform you are listening to with us right now. Thanks to all the beautiful sponsors out there and awesome sponsors out there for helping us support the network and keeping us on the air. Really do want to thank all of you guys, especially the promo codes we're giving every single month. And guys, if you are in the Niagara region, check out your local sponsor, especially during this time of the world. And again, finally, your viewers out there for tuning in and listening to us for this episode. This has been another episode of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs edition on the Armchair GM Sports Network by sports fans, for sports fans. I'll talk to you guys later.